Okay, good afternoon everybody. Thank you for joining the class today on Huber's 5 phases model in the course on environmental justice and sustainable development. As this session has been prepared by myself, I'm going to introduce you to some of the tools which you also may use in your upcoming presentations. And in the following, I'm first going to introduce you to the top list on which we are going to work. I hope every one of you has been able to run the audio wizard. Please give me a short sign aside of Marcus. Who can hear me, please give me an agree sign. Lisa, what's about you? And Anke? Can you hear me? Okay. Lisa wrote me in the chat. Lisa, it is important that you understand how the emojis work. It's on the top where you see this little figure with a raised hand. If you click on the arrow on the right hand side, you are seeing a drop down menu with several options, and one is agreeing. There's a question by Laura. So Laura, I give the word to you. All the rest can disable the agreement sign. Okay. This has not worked. Laura, are you still about to say something? If not, I will disable your microphone. If you have a question, just raise your hand again. Okay. Kilian, and who's the one with the D? As I've said, it is crucial for my documentation that I have your first name and okay, was a mistake by Laura, no problem. The one with the D, please specify yourself, because I do have a recording on those people which have attended to the class just in consideration of the e-learning certificate. It's not related to the teaching and the certificate here, as I've said in the first sessions, but those who want to get an e-learning certificate at the end must not miss more than 2 classes. Dominic. Okay, so please for the future, just put in your name when you register. No problem at all. Okay, well, I see everyone can hear me. Everyone has understood the system, so let's have a look what I'm going to do with you today. I assume every one of you has read the text. As the majority of all of you is German, the 30 pages of Huber shouldn't be a big issue. I also want to go with you into some questions, as this is the first time that the whole group is gathered as such. You will have the possibility to ask some questions which I may have left open in the initial sessions. Afterwards, I will throw you into different working groups to work separately on some issues, and after that I summarize the Huber's 5 phases model, also in consideration of other sociologists which have adopted, knowing or not knowing, his categorization. I will conclude with some critics on Huber, which also will be one of the foci you should discuss in the working groups. Considering the text that you have read, it is crucial for us to find out the viewpoint of Huber and maybe the gaps we could identify in his argumentation and maybe also his viewpoint. If there's some time at the end, I would like to discuss 2 hypotheses of mine regarding the text. And if not, this could be some thoughts for you during the week for our next session. So let's start with questions from your side. Has there anything been left open? Any question you wanted to ask or to know regarding term papers, Studienleistung, Prüfungsleistung, whatever? If you do have a question, please just raise your hand. Okay, this looks good. Okay, there is a question. Lisa. Lisa, I give you speaking rights.
Sorry, can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Do we have to tell you in advance which kind of Studienleistung or certificate or whatever we need? Or at what point do you have to know that?
Thank you for your question. Actually, the presentation is mandatory anyway for any kind of certificate you want to get. For the e-learning certificate, the rules are pretty clear. You do not need to tell me. If you hold your presentation and you have not missed more than 2 times, you're obliged to get one of the certificates, and if not, you don't. In terms of Prüfungsleistung and Studienleistung, this also is relatively flexible because I have given strict deadlines regarding the term papers, and if you wanna choose for the optional offers I had for you in terms of like making a very good grade or like submitting an abstract in advance, this is more or less up to your time scale. So and as for me, this is nothing you need to tell me in advance, but we will go into the structure of the presentations very soon now. Did this answer your question? Then just give me an agreement sign. Okay, thank you. Any further questions from your side? Not as far as I can see now, so let's continue. So as you can see by the overview, a lot of people have already chosen a presentation. Beside of those which have chosen and are listed here, I would ask you to check whether I put the names in the right position to the right presentation. Naturally, I think I offer at least, or it would be probably not too bad to have a talk with Marius pretty soon to arrange for that what you have in mind, Marius. All the others are always invited to join me in the virtual consultation hour, and then we can go through everything. So, as a presentation is mandatory for a Studienleistung as well, I would like everyone else who is not on the list but wanna have at least an e-learning certificate and a Studienleistung to choose one of the missing spots. So what we are having is a spot on the world system theory. As I've said, the world system theory, in my opinion, is kind of one of the only really theoretically existing oppositional theory to the modernization theory. Its critics are quite long, and the critics on world system theory also have quite a history, so it's very interesting. There's a lot of literature to look at and certainly interesting to explore. Is there anyone who would be interested to hold the presentation on this issue? Okay. The next one, which is open, is the history of conceptions, the four worldviews on environmental change. There is actually a whole book about the issue that what I have recommended to read is more a summary of some chapters of this book, but if you are thinking about writing a term paper, the book of Clapp and Doverain is certainly a very, very good starting point for further investigation. Is there anyone interested in holding this presentation? Okay, Dominic. Dominic, you can speak. You have speaking rights. But what you need to do is you need to enable the microphone. You see the microphone sign on the top, but it's gray. So if you click on this, it turns green, and then you can speak and we can hear you. Dominic? No, it's not working. So in that case, Dominic, I will remove the speaking rights. Please use the chat. What you want to say? Do you wanna take this presentation? There's also Lisa who wanna say something. Lisa, I give you speaking rights.
Thanks. Maybe I would actually like to do the one on the 16th of November, the development theories, world system and its critiques. I was a bit slow, sorry.
No problem at all. Okay, looks perfect. And Dominic, you want to take the presentation. You speak about the presentation on December 7th, right? Lisa, I will disable your microphone now because your presentation is set. Okay. Dominic is taking the one on 11th, and Lisa the one on December 7th. As we have two Lisas, I must not confuse this. This is Lisa Oelschlegel, right? Okay, thanks. Dominic, this is the reason why it's good if you can remove the agreement sign, because sometimes I ask for an agreement sign and if yours is still on, can be communication confusion. Perfect. Okay, let's continue. There is another spot on 2 sessions. The one is on mapping sustainability, which is attractive insofar as it is only on one major article and includes a lot of existing and past movements and gives a quite good matrix-based overview. Lisa.
That working?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'd like to do the one on justice. No one going to fight me for it. Justice Theory or Roadmap on the 4th of January.
Okay, sounds good. We have other people that want to say something as well, but my question in advance is, do you have any preliminary experience or knowledge on justice theories? I mean, in particular, Rawls?
Rawls, yes, vaguely.
Okay.
I can consider myself an expert though.
Okay, this is good because I mean the topic is a bit huge, I must say, but very interesting too. And if you just have some basic knowledge on Rawls, this would help a lot to provide a good overview on it. There has been Serkan who want to say something. Serkan, you need to activate the microphone on top as I've said before, this it must be gray in the beginning now when it appears beside the loudspeaker symbol, and if you click on it, it turns green, and then we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Can you hear me? I would like to do the presentation on the 21st of December.
21st of December.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have okay. I put names down, and then let's see whether there's more than one. So Serkan on 21st, 4th of January is Lisa S. Sorry for the surname naming, but otherwise it's difficult to distinguish about whom I'm speaking. And Kevin also wanted to say something. I disable you, Serkan, now. Kevin, have you activated your microphone? I cannot hear you actually. If you, yeah, I think so either. So just put it on the chat. As for everyone, as for technical issues like this, generally, it is mandatory that you have working hardware devices, and I suggest that I don't know how you do it. Don't use integrated microphones, but a real headset. This usually works and is recognized, and run it by the audio wizard. I know that sometimes you have a headset which works with Skype but does not work here. This is due to the fact that Adobe Connect is not as developed in terms of communication as Skype is. So a lot of weak devices work pretty well with Skype, but here it must be kind of perfectly working. Otherwise you will have problems to participate. So you can join me in the consultation hour room and we can try again, but usually changing helps. Okay, Marcus, want to say something? As for Kevin, Kevin just write in the chat what you wanted to say for now. No, Marcus, I cannot hear you. Probably you're, as I said before, the most happening error is that you haven't clicked on the microphone symbol. So if your microphone symbol is not green, it's not open. You just have the right, but you haven't enabled your microphone. You must do so. Everyone who faces technical problems, even whilst we are having the session, just run the audio wizard. There is an option to make a recording, which you should just try, and if this recording works, usually your microphone is functional. Okay, usually if you cannot hear me, this is most likely a problem with audio connection, by which, yeah, Marcus, then just restart. Everyone else can hear me, right? You would have given me notice, I guess. Yeah, please just show me quickly. Agree if you can hear me. Okay. If you don't hear me, you must tell me, because I would just continue talking. I wouldn't see that if you cannot hear me anymore. Okay, then let's continue with the presentations, because there are 2 presentations left now, as we have Serkan for taking the mapping sustainability issue, and Lisa S for taking the justice question. And there, as I've said in the first session, the case studies are free, more or less, in terms of like you can choose your own topic if you feel like. If you have found interesting case studies as provided by the journal Environmental Justice, of which free offers are sometimes displayed in the news section of the Environmental Justice Institute's news site, or else you think a topic could be related or would be interesting to investigate through the lenses of environmental justice or sustainable development questions. This is just what I've chosen are the easiest ones. So there is one for Canada, which I know, which is very good to use, and about the United States, there are so many. So are there people that want to do a presentation on one of the two? Annika, want to say something?
Hello, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, perfect. So yes, I would like to do one of these. Well, I would prefer Canada, but I would leave it like open to maybe choose my own topic or my own case study. So if that's okay for you, I would actually prefer the first date, so the 25th of January. But if not, I can also do on the 1st of Feb.
No, that's fine. I mean, you. I put you on the. But you want to do on Canada, or you want to do on a totally different country?
Well, I wouldn't like to do USA and prefer Canada, but I will try to find my own topic.
Okay.
Yes.
But you would certainly choose one of the Canadian topics, because Canada is like famous for the United States for environmental justice case studies, or would you maybe choose another country as well?
I think I would choose another country.
Okay, fair enough. So I put you on the 25th, and you touch base with me as soon as you have come to some conclusions regarding a possible topic you wanna take on. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank you. And Markus has joined. And Annika wanna say something? Anke wanna say something? Anke, have you enabled your microphone? Yeah, it appears so. Okay. Do you want just write it? What you wanted to say? You wanna take one of the presentation? I mean, you cannot hold a presentation without a working microphone. I mean, this is obvious, but this is a technical issue which we need to resolve. But we will resolve. This is certainly possible. Sometimes just takes a while. Okay. Okay. So is it okay when I put you on the 1st of February? Yeah, as I have understood from Annika, she is maybe choosing another country as well. But even if we would have two case studies from Canada, we could put them in comparison. So, Annika, I write you down for 1st of February. And yeah, you can already get the information I have. I will check. And during the upcoming weekend, I'm going to put all the other information online so that everyone can start already looking at it, reading it, and so forth. Okay, wonderful. Everyone else right now is satisfied by the distribution? Everyone else has a presentation, who want to have a presentation? Those who have not and want to hold a presentation because they want to have a certificate or one or the other, just approach me, then we are looking for a solution. Very well. So let's continue. The following issue, what I would like to do with you is like splitting you into working groups. The important thing is what you need to know. Not everyone of the participants is a German speaker. By this I mean not even native, just doesn't speak German, so that's why they haven't read the whole text. So the idea of splitting you into working groups is also due to the idea that you update each other. What you are going to see is the little screenshot which I've put on the slide. And here, which is labeled red right now, you see the task, what you have to fulfill. This is actually related to the whiteboard which I've created. So every one of you has writing rights. This is a way by which you can train using the whiteboard to create something. You can remove something, write it there. Once again, just the reminder, if you write text, and you should write with a text marker, because if you like try to paint, it could be a little difficult from depending by your manual skills. This only is displayed for the others if you have moved out of the writing. So you need to click somewhere else and then it is displayed. What you are seeing is a small table, a rough table, which I've created. Every one of you is going to see this in the rooms. And I've put in some data. These data are like, you can say, cornering data for the 5 phases model, which Huber has developed. And what I would like you is to discuss, fill out the more data, fill in more data, and add to all the data event and possible phases. So try to scrutinize the meaning of the text of Huber in terms of like the important events he mentions and the phases in the development he has put together and assumes to be like the guideline. Make use also of the above possibilities. You should all have speaking rights. You should all be able to speak with each other. As we are quite a number of people, you will be evenly distributed and all can speak, so be polite to each other. Wait until someone has finished, can be a little confusing. I think you should also be able to enable your video. Make this independence to the internet connection. It's not wise to use the video if you face technical problems, because this can be due to the broadband maximum that you have reached by then. Okay, this for now. I will now split you. If you have any question, just raise your hand. You cannot directly speak with me as long as I'm not within you in the same room, but I will jump from time to time into the different working group rooms in order to have you listen to your discussions a bit. And if you have questions, just let me know. Okay, let's start. Okay, everybody, you should all be back now. As I've ended the working group rooms, I hope you have enjoyed this experience so far. I'm sorry for the inconvenience of before. It was just a saving mistake I did. That's why afterwards I couldn't find that what I've exported. What I've displayed right now is the whiteboard of the first group, and this I would like to know who's going to present what you have, and all the others may join in. I have all the other whiteboards uploaded as well. The only thing is the limit of the space, and I believe you probably don't have a screen as big as mine, would make it impossible for us to look at all the 3 whiteboards at the same time. So having said this, I think we start with the first presentation and everyone else joins in, and each group just says a few words to that what they have found out. Maybe we start with summarizing like what was in the text in terms of the phases, and later on we are going into critics, to which I also have something to add. So Kevin wanted to say something. No, Kevin just wanted to join. So from the first group, who is the one who has been appointed to present? Lisa?
Yep, that's me.
Would be great if you could.
So,
could you enable your video so that everyone knows that you are the one who's talking now for the presentation?
Sure.
Because this is the normal mode if you hold a
Let me
presentation
try
by yourself as
that.
well.
Okay. If you can tell me how I enable the video,
Yeah.
I'll definitely do it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you are absolutely right. This was my fault because you don't have the rights. Now you have. It is.
Okay.
You see the button above, and you see first an image of you, and then you can look in the back, like you see. Yeah, now you have already opened it. Now everyone can see it, but before it's like you can make a first check whether everything looks as it should, and you look as you should, and so forth. So yeah, let's go. I'm curious to hear.
Okay, so on the right are the phases that I'm assuming everyone's probably roughly the same. So first is the emergence of the movement, which then receives a boost and transitions over time, which means that it assimilates with like the main culture, and then reaches a phase of maintenance and or decomposition. And like a starting point, we thought the Club of Rome was really important, the report. And then at the end, the Earth Summit by the UNO and the Johannesburg Earth Summit. Well, and in between there's a boost. Obviously there's most events that we picked. So Greenpeace was founded in the 1970s, the anti-atomic movement, then the first oil crisis, also connected to that, and many social movements during that time. And then during the transition phase, environmental activists and corporations started to cooperate, which was also sometimes called greenwashing. NGOs were established, stuff like that. I think I leave it at that.
Okay.
Anyone wants to add something?
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. Yeah, I put you back to your normal position if this is okay for you. Out of the spotlight, so to say. There is a message by Laura.
Yay.
She cannot see anything. Laura, if any, you can just leave the meeting and enter again. This is like with every computer-based software. If the graphics are not working anymore, most likely it is that your the RAM working space of your computer is overloaded. Markus?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to tell that I can't see anything as well.
Okay. Can you cannot see anything as well? Markus, you cannot see anything as well. So how does it look like?
Most of the part is blue, and there's a like a black box with camera and tone, and I can see the participants of the group, but I cannot see the presentation.
The whiteboard. Okay. In that case, it seems to be a graphical issue. I mean, it might also depend on the graphic card you are having on your computer. So I think the easiest way is leave the room and enter again, and see whether this resolves the problem.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Lisa O already posed the important question. Before else, is there anything anyone want to add to the presentation of Lisa regarding that what she showed, which actually was a pretty complete data set of the text. Is there anything anyone wanted to add? If not, I actually would have a question. You finish with the list of data in 2002, the so-called Rio plus 10. Why have you spared the Rio plus 20? And most importantly, why have you spared the COP21? Would you say it's not important, or is it against the phase expectation that Huber has developed? Not necessarily Lisa has to answer this, but Lisa is going for it. Okay.
If anybody has a better idea, please say so. But I think we just missed that. I think we concentrated really hard on like the boost and stuff, but maybe that was just me.
Okay, thank you. So sorry, Chris, this was I clicked too fast, so I removed the microphone. Now I give it back. Now you can say something.
Well, not really so much to say, to be honest. I didn't edit because there was no space anymore.
Okay. Yeah, this is a critic on the limitation of these whiteboards. And I mean, we haven't spoken about it, but we are going to speak about it certainly at the latest at the end of the session of the seminar. The e-lecturing format is, I believe, absolutely challenging and interesting at the same time, but certainly has limits. So okay, I take this as a good reason. Okay, then Lisa O has raised her hand. I think she's going to present for group 2. Am I right?
Yes. Although I think I would like to add that we had the same problem. At some point you want to include global events, which obviously play an important role, but Huber doesn't really talk about that. He very much restricts his analysis or whatever on not only geographically on Germany, but also on events that happened rather in Germany than anywhere else, which I think is a major weakness probably of his analysis, because obviously these global events very much influence national movements as well.
Absolutely. This is one very important issue which you are raising. I wanted to say something to the data that have been put in after I've seen all presentations. This also will give us some hints on like how the debate is framed in terms of the regime in Foucault's understanding, like what kind of understanding of movement analysis he brings up. Is there anything else you wanted to add to this whiteboard, or can I switch to whiteboard number 2?
Yeah, that was all.
Okay, so please help me now. As far as I know, this is yours, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Okay, then maybe this one is yours.
Yes.
Because the problem is, in the beginning, when I exported, I did a renaming to recognize the different exports, but this kind of erased the format, so that's why it was not a graphical file anymore. And now I exported it normally, and it always looks like this, and I couldn't remember the numbers on top. So this one is yours. So yeah, I will silence myself, and please present what you have put in.
Okay. Well, I mean, more or less, it's the same where the other lists are already presented.
Sorry. One thing. Would you be so kind to also activate your video when I make you presenter with all presenter rights?
Yes.
Like this.
Oh, here. Okay. Yeah. Right. So I think most things Lisa already said.
You have not
have
activated the video yet. The first thing you see,
sorry,
it's always a double step. Yeah, it's sometimes difficult to remember. It happened a lot of times to me as well. So sorry, I know I silenced.
Okay, no, that's fine. All right, so we more or less have the same thing: the emergence phase, which I think Huber calls like the heroic like starting point, or where people are easily mobilized, easily starts to get involved, which was in Germany mainly supported by social movements and citizens' initiatives, civil society, etc. Then we called it the learning or growing phase, where the whole movement gets more and more institutionalized. The Green Party is installed. They have their own kind of experts, institutes, centers, etc. Yeah, and obviously global events or catastrophes like these chemical catastrophes encourage these national movements very, very much, like the oil crisis, or I don't remember exactly when Chernobyl happened, but this type of event, or later on then we have the assimilation in society. That means that society kind of takes over these ideas, although not in that radical way as initially proposed. We also put in that like the reunion of Germany, obviously played a role for Eastern Germany, as then their movement was encouraged more, obviously, because before there was not a lot of space for them to develop. We inserted, because we had Julia in our group who read the other text, so we put in these international conferences, and for example the First National People of Color Environment Leadership Summit, well, as I said before, which I think very much encourages these national movements. And then what we also would criticize, that Huber calls this final phase like a sleeping movement, or something that when topics arise, or like something like Fukushima happens, then everybody does get involved and people get back on the street, but apart from that, not so very much, as environmental issues are involved or like already included in the industrial sector, in the political sector, in all parts of daily life. So yeah, we don't think so, because people are constantly involved and there's a lot of consciousness, but that doesn't mean that the movement has kind of died or is sleeping all the time or whatever. Yeah, I think that's everything from my part for the moment.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? I put you back to the participant position.
Yeah.
Anyone else who wanna add something to that? What was said? Certainly interesting additional points which are not part of Huber's text, which is going to play a major role when we are discussing environmental justice and sustainable development as separated or joint concepts. He is not even mentioning it. No one want to add something to this? Okay then. Who's going to present the last whiteboard from group number 3? Marcus. Okay. Marcus, this should be this should be your whiteboard, correct? This one which I'm enlarging.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to promote you to become a moderator, and then you should also be able to activate your video. Perfect. Okay, I silence myself. Go for it.
Yeah, I guess my previous speakers already mentioned the most important things. We also figured out 5 phases in the 60s, the emergence phase, in the early 70s until the 80s, the boost phase, afterwards the transition phase, and in the 90s, the assimilation phase, and in the 2000s and 90s, the maintenance and decomposition phase. And in the emergence phase, we found occasions like the flower power and the hippies, and the anti-Authorian student movement. I guess this was not mentioned yet, and the movement also against racism. Yeah, and then in the boost phase in the 70s, there was this famous report of the Club of Rome. I guess it was already mentioned, Limits of Growth, which had a lot of influence according to the debate about growth and how sinful it is. And also there was the emancipation movement still going on, and some consumer boycotts against commodities from states which were not democratic or where apartheid was ruling, like South Africa. And then in the 90s, in the assimilation phase, we have the Rio Conference and the Sustainable Development Conference. And yeah, and in 2016, we have a point where NGOs, like in the 2000s, NGOs became more professional already in the 90s. Yeah. And maybe some critics. There's no mention of feminist movements which also joined environmental movements. And yeah, I guess that's it so far. Maybe some other members of my group want to mention something as well, which I forgot maybe.
Maybe not now, but so far, thank you very much for the presentation. Sorry.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
So, in that case, thank you very much for the presentation. Other things can be added later on. As time is running out, I put you back to participant position. Thank you. We are quickly going to move on to some further remarks as we are close to the end of the session anyways. One other thing which he mentions but is not really going into detail is 1968. 1968 was also the time when Paul and Anna Ehrlich published the book on the population bomb. It is crucial for you to remember that, like the beginning of the environmental movements, which at the end established themselves as being part of the institutions and the international agenda on environmental issues, started from two angles. One has been the movements to which Huber refers strongly. The other ones has been the academics. And in the past, and this is not only in the 20th century, but much earlier, has been the Malthusians. The Malthusians, from Malthus, actually saw a first starting point in the problem set of environmental issues by the growth of population of poor people in the world. This movement has both been bourgeois and reactionary by nature because they saw the problem of the scarcity of resources by the overpopulation of poor people. In this tradition, later on much more influenced by the humanism, was the book of Paul und Anna Ehrlich, which was published in 1968. Just as a side story, he published it as under the name of Paul Ehrlich. Later on it came out his wife, Anna Ehrlich, also was involved in the writing, which wasn't mentioned at that time. Anyways, the Malthusians have always argued, and you are going to find this in some dystopian stories and movies as well, that a good strategy to overcome scarcity is the sterilization of poor people, which just get too many children, so that we don't have enough resources for humanity. Paul and Anna Ehrlich put it in another way. They saw the problem of overpopulation like a bomb which is about to explode if the demographic factor is going to continue as it continued at that time. But they also wrote that what was called the positive program. And as part of the positive program, which was an appendix to his book, or their book, more correctly, in this positive program, they argued that we have a need for green parties to change the discourse. Actually, also not listed I think maybe it was listed in one of the whiteboards. I just don't remember. The foundation of the Green Party in Germany in 1980 was a result of this book of Paul and Anna Ehrlich, like the attempt to overcome the obstacles of resolving the environmental problem by founding a legal party, a parliamentarian party, which is dedicated to green issues or the green problem set. So, having said this, let's quickly go to the critics on him. As you have not mentioned the following events in 2012, and in particular COP15 in 2015, which was highlighted. If you're a little bit interested on that, you can go on the website of the Environmental Justice Institute. There, after the event when I was in Israel, I discussed in a group the outcome and have published like a review on this, and you find a lot of documents from Wuppertal Institute which is discussing the outcome of this, and we may have a look at this later on in our sessions when we have time. But back to the presentation. Let's quickly go through this. I don't have to repeat myself, as you have drawn this already from the data. The boost phase actually from 1973 to 1982 is interesting insofar as this has been the time when the environmental justice movement emerged. So we are going to see later on that what Huber framed by the 5 phases model can somehow be applied to the environmental justice movement as well, and that's why it might be interesting for us to look at whether the phases he has developed are applying to the historical environmental justice movement or the environmental justice movement by now in the same way. We are skipping this. I just want to go into my critics to point out a few things. I totally agree with the focus that you have put on the lag on gender issues in his argumentation, but this is just one of the many things. You are going to learn as part of this seminar that environmental sociology, in particular in Germany, has never paid much interest in nature generally, and therefore those which are working in the field, like Joseph Huber, and he's really a very, very famous person. I think the only one who really has a big name on the international scale in environmental matters and environmental sociology. So this leg I certainly buy. Additionally, the focus on Germany I also find interesting because this goes together with another focus which very generally we find in his text. He's basically speaking about the First World. He somehow mentions at one point Latin America, and sometimes he refers to South Africa, but he actually never speaks about the rest of Africa and about Asia. And there are other contributors like Joan Martínez Alier who refer to environmental justice and environmental struggles as a general international and global struggle for justice and equal rights. And we are going to discuss maybe in the future of whether that what he is pointing out is more has a better direction for continuation than that what Huber tries to make as a frame, because Martínez Alier actually comes to the point saying, like, we have environmental struggles for centuries. It's not just a thing of the last 50 years of the Western world, where we have politicians now discussing environmental problem sets, but we have a struggle for equal rights in environmental matters, whatever environment means, and cultural matters, and this is framed by different wordings, and one of the wording is environmental justice or environmental concerns, biodiversity, and so forth. Okay, we have 3 minutes left, so I will just give you my 2 hypotheses without having time for discussing it right now. As usual, I will put the PowerPoint presentation on Ilias, and for those which are external, they are going to find it as a PDF in the Dropbox folder. If you have time to think a bit about the hypothesis as a result of his theoretical framing, which he did, maybe we have time to discuss it next week, to go a little bit into detail. And I would also like you to think about, already considering that what we are going to discuss in the sessions after, what kind of development and sustainability concept is the basis of all the theorization that Huber makes, as well as in terms of wording that he uses by describing, like the so-called fundis and realos in the Green Party, or the fundamentalistic approach to that and that. This may help us later on to also frame the discourses in environmental matters within the academic sphere. Okay. This actually was it from my side. I thank you very much for joining the class of this week. I hope you have enjoyed it as I did, and I look forward to see you again next week, same time. So thank you very much, and have a good week.